Hi everyone. Today, we're reviewing robust watches with a metal bezel and scratch-resistant glass. They feature the ability to make calls and dial numbers directly from the watch, music playback function as a mini speaker, heart rate and blood oxygen level measurement, a rotating control element, fast operation, calculator, calendar, and even games, all with a declared Amoled screen. These are the Lemfo TF10 watches, which are unbelievably cheap, and which I don't recommend to my viewers. Why? Let's find out. Let's start with unpacking. The watch comes in a nice, bright square box. On the front, basic functions are listed, with the most important being the Amoled screen. On the side, the same functions, and on the back, a QR code to download the app for this watch. We open it and check the contents. The watch itself. Easily detachable silicone strap. Regular universal magnetic charger. Also, instructions for connecting the watch to the phone. The watch looks nice. I like the design. At the front, there is a protective metal bezel, and the case itself is made of a matte plastic surface. On the right side, there are two buttons and a microphone for making calls from the watch. On the left side, there is a speaker. At the bottom, sensors for heart rate and blood oxygen measurement. The strap is quickly detachable, 22 millimeters, easy to put on and replace. The strap is good, soft, flexible, and comfortable. It has a metal buckle and two clasps. The length is sufficient, suitable for any wrist. The watch is 52 millimeters wide, and the thickness is only 13 millimeters. On the wrist, the watch looks cool. They are light and thin, and their appearance is perfect in my opinion. It's good that there is a metal bezel at the front, and the screen is protected by scratch-resistant tempered glass. Connect the watch to the smartphone. The watch turns on immediately. The screen immediately shows the standard dial with animation. The language can be changed in the settings. Available languages. We download the app from the QR code on the box or the instructions. The NewWare app is available on the Google Play Store. We download, launch, find our watch, and connect. Friends, now I'll test them for a few weeks and tell you more about them. 2 weeks have passed since I started using this watch, or rather 2 weeks of suffering using them. And right away, I'll say this is the worst watch I've ever had. I already thought I wouldn't review them, but my viewers need to know the truth to avoid making the wrong choice. Let's start. Let's start with the screen. As declared on the seller's website and on the box itself, the screen here is 1.53 inches, Amoled, with a resolution of 360 by 360 pixels per inch. Yes, pixel density is good, pixels are practically invisible, but the screen here is not Amoled, just a regular TFT screen. We turn on the always-on display mode, which should work for a maximum of 20 minutes. If we turn the screen, we see that the screen is glowing everywhere, even where the color is black. Yes, and the always-on display doesn't work for the declared 20 minutes, it turns off after 10 seconds. The screen brightness is sufficient during the day, everything is visible, with a 5-level brightness adjustment. Maybe it's a good thing that there's no always-on display feature, because otherwise, this watch would discharge halfway through the day. Either way, the watch lasts for 7 days, which is not bad. Charging the watch from 0 to 100% takes 2 hours. The charging cable is weak, it disconnects with the slightest movement. Screen activation is done by pressing any button. There is also a lift-to-wake screen feature that works fairly normally, with a slight delay. When lowering your hand, the watch immediately turns off, saving battery power. You cannot turn off the screen by covering it with your hand. Swiping up opens access to quick functions. Available indicators include connection status, date and time, weather, phone search, 20-minute screen-on feature, alarm that can be set on the watch, brightness, do not disturb mode, and settings. Swiping sideways provides access to quick functions related to weather, pulse, music player, sleep, dialing, and statistics. There's an option to customize widgets, which is good. Swiping down opens access to notifications. The font is clear for both Cyrillic and Latin alphabets. However, not all apps send notifications. Here's a list of apps from which notifications may come. For example, there are no notifications from Telegram, which I use. You can set notifications to receive from all apps, but notifications from apps outside the list are grouped and do not show message content. Regular SMS messages are received normally and disappear after being opened. The watch vibrations are normal. with a choice between light and strong vibration. During an incoming call, you can answer and reject the call. There's also the option to adjust the speaker volume during the call. The watch allows not only calls but also making calls. You can dial numbers from added contacts, from recently received calls, or by manually entering the phone number. I would like to say a few words about the quality of the watch's microphone and speaker. You can talk, and the other person hears well, but the speaker's quality is low. You can use it for calls or listening to messages through YouTube, but it's not suitable for listening to music unless you want blood pouring from your ears. The speaker is muffled, and overall, there's a lack of low frequencies. What's worse, if the watch is connected to the smartphone, you are practically obliged to listen to all the content you watch through this watch, through the weak speaker. For example, in Z-Blaze Aries 3 Pro, GTS Pro, or GTR Pro watches, there's a feature to listen to sound from the smartphone, which you can always turn off. This feature is not available in the Lemfo TF10 watch. And you cannot turn it off unless you disconnect Bluetooth. Later, I found a way to block Bluetooth access to multimedia devices in the settings. This helped, but the media player stopped working. The bottom button is for going back and turning off the screen. The top button opens the main menu. There are 4 types of menus that can be changed with a double press. It's a normal list, circle, tunnel, and Apple Watch mode. The top button can zoom in, zoom out, rotate, and scroll through the menu. You can also change watch faces by scrolling. But we'll talk about watch faces later. The menu and navigation on the watch are convenient, everything works quickly, and I have no complaints about the speed of the watch. There are features such as a flashlight, taking a photo, but only through a dedicated app, and voice assistant, namely Google Assistant. Heart rate and blood oxygen level measurements are inaccurate. The watch effortlessly measures heart rate and blood oxygen levels in the air, on the table, anywhere. There's no continuous heart rate monitoring throughout the day. Sleep measurement is also inadequate. Throughout the week, it showed that I slept a maximum of 4 hours, and the rest of the days, 2 hours. In short, in one word, it's not worth buying this watch for health and physical activity monitoring. As for sports and workouts, only 8 types of workouts are available on the watch. In the workout, there are standard parameters, steps, heart rate, calories. The watch does not have a GPS sensor, but there's an option to start a workout using the smartphone's GPS through the app. However, using GPS workout is pointless, as some Chinese map is used in the app, which does not have any other countries with roads outside China. Moreover, step counting does not work in the workout, making using GPS workout useless. In a regular workout, steps are counted, and it even seems adequate. There's a weather forecast, which is not always accurate. No timer. It's good that there's a stopwatch. And the alarm can be set directly on the watch. There's a calculator, calendar. What surprised me is that this watch has the Galaxian game. The new Wear watch appears ordinary, featuring a sleep monitoring function that, I remind you, is not always accurate. The same goes for the heart rate monitor and blood oxygen level. It includes a menstrual calendar and information on the number of steps, distance covered, and calories burned. The app itself is weak. The watch consistently loses connection. Data isn't updated. Synchronization and data updates occur only upon entering the app. Even if the watch displays that it is connected, pressing the Find Smartphone button prompts a message stating that it is not connected. There are 5 watch faces, each of which can be customized. Switching between faces is done by rotating the top button, which is not always convenient, as accidental button presses can lead to face changes. In total, there are currently 124 watch faces. They are nice, providing a variety of options. There are also animated watch faces, both analog and digital, and even women's faces, though it's hard to imagine a girl wearing such a watch. Here are a few that I liked. Within 2 weeks of usage, several new faces have been added regularly. There's an option to set a custom watch face with your own image. The photo quality is good, pixel density is sufficient, and pixels themselves are practically invisible. In summary, the pros: the watch is nice and stylish, well made, with a metal protective ring and scratch-resistant glass. The strap is good, soft, suitable for any wrist. Though there are not many faces, there is variety in the selection. The watch operates quickly, with many menu types that function swiftly. It is user-friendly. There's a calculator, calendar, and an alarm can be set on the watch itself. There's the option for talking through the watch and even a game to play, but these are the only advantages. As for the drawbacks, it's worth noting the seller's deception regarding the Amoled screen, which is actually a TFT screen. The watch poorly maintains a connection with the phone. The watch consistently loses connection with the app, even if geodata is constantly on and all necessary permissions are granted. The lack of a button to turn off multimedia playback forces you to listen to everything on this watch that is played on the phone, using the watch terrible speaker, only suitable for playing messages or making calls. Although I found a solution to this problem, after doing so, you cannot use the player and switch music on the smartphone. The watch poorly monitors sleep. It displays weather poorly. Heart rate and blood oxygen levels are read from the air, with no continuous heart rate monitoring throughout the day. There's no timer. Workouts using GPS are useless. Messages come from a limited number of apps. I do not recommend buying this watch. It has more drawbacks than advantages. Although they look good and the quality is decent, the software is completely underdeveloped. Perhaps this will change over time, but currently, I strongly discourage their purchase. I debated whether to review it, but ultimately, I believe it's worth reviewing even such watches so that my viewers and subscribers do not buy them. If you're looking for an inexpensive watch with a similar appearance, consider the Z-Blaze Aries 3 Pro or Z-Blaze Stratos 3, which have AMOLED screens, a metal frame, good performance, and a good battery. Watch the full reviews of these watches and make the right choice. See you soon, friends.